name is Sheridan Ruth, and I am here to welcome you home. This is the Exposed podcast. Where we reveal the body-based ways to ease anxiety, heal trauma, and create an empowered connection with love and money using nervous system regulation and a healthy dose of self-compassion. Hello and welcome to Exposed. I am so excited to be talking today with my wonderful friend and client, Geri. Geri and I have been working together now for a little while, and we are sharing the story of how she was able to break very subconscious, somatic patterns that her body was in and that her subconscious mind has been in that have made it a little bit difficult for her to move the needle forward in an effective and efficient way, building her business while managing all of the other parts of life. And we're telling the story of how she's been able to break those patterns so that she's been able to now claim her expertise, claim who she is best at helping, and see the way that invitations and recognition just falls into place after having done so. Let's dive straight into it. Hello and welcome. Okay, so Geri, questions about body-based business, and I really appreciate that this is going to be coming straight from your heart without any preparation at all. Can you speak to what you were experiencing, how you felt towards your business just before we started working together?
Sure. So I had found a lot of clarity, but I felt like there was still something missing, and like the confidence wasn't quite there to execute what my heart desired, what I knew what I was capable of. And so it felt like I needed more in-depth support to be able to get me from the A, which would be not so confident, I would say, in my business. In terms of how it ran, what I needed to actually do or create in my business to keep the needle moving forward. So what would need to happen every day to make sure that I wasn't just stagnating, and feeling like I knew I had more of a voice in my business and more expression to explore. And possibly not having, feeling like I wanted some support to explore that deeper, because I would say expression, my voice, is one of the areas that's had a lot of core wounding, let's say. And so it almost felt like I needed to be held in a container to be able to explore that in a deeper way, which would make my nervous system feel safer around exploring those things.
Yeah. And so that's kind of the curiosity that I have for you, because obviously if you're sitting with, and I think it's a good question for other people to contemplate, if you're sitting with this feeling of okay, I want to express something, there's something here that needs to be said or something, there's something deeper. What called you to the format of our work, focusing on the body, focusing on a one-on-one support instead of other, I don't know, a course or a creation or all the other, there's so many options. Why this format?
That's such a great question. So I think for me personally, there's something very special about having a one-on-one interaction where you really feel like you're being held in a space where you are deeply seen, because I feel like that also makes your own body and your own system feel safer to explore things on a deeper depth, because you have someone to reflect with, that you have someone to help you integrate with, and someone there supporting you through that process. Whereas if you're in a course or a group program, there isn't going to be that level of care or support held for you. And so therefore, I feel like, yes, group courses and that format can work wonders, and I've done those and they've been amazing. But I think when you're looking for that next step, like level, and when you are like, I know there's something deep within me that is, you know, ready to be birthed, ready to come through, that's when seeking one-on-one support can be exponential, because you're able to get to those layers that maybe you've not been able to get to before.
Yeah, I completely agree. I feel exactly the same way. That's why I'm so passionate about this format. And I think it's really cool as well, because like having witnessed you now grow so much, it's really awesome. I think maybe it was last week where we unlocked one level of expression, and it was like, oh, this is what we've been, this clicked together. This is what we have been contemplating and working towards, and like, oh yeah, of course, that makes so much sense. And we're only able to have that experience, and I'm only able to shine those things back to you, and you know that I understand it because we've had so many intimate conversations. And I think that's just like really, really awesome. Yeah. But I'm not going to share what it is. I'm going to ask, actually, I'm curious, what's your biggest like aha moment takeaway been from our time together so far?
Oh, I feel like there's been like so many, or just like collectively, there's like everything kind of intertwined together. So let me just sit with this for a minute. I think breaking the patterns that have been, so for example, I'm going to give like a general example because it could be helpful. Say if you've got a voice in your head that always is telling you like you're not good enough, you're XYZ, like you're not capable, and that is always going to kind of like limit you. And yes, you can kind of use your conscious mind to tell it otherwise, but to actually integrate the correct belief or the correct knowing that you have amazing things to share, sometimes it needs like constant reaffirming back to you to really help it, this new belief, this new kind of like system that's coming online, to be integrated into your body. Because I think we can tell ourselves so much, like we can tell ourselves like, I am worthy, I am enough, I am this, I am that, and have these mantras. But then it's, I feel, I was reflecting on this, I feel like it's then kind of amplified 100 times when you've got someone there that knows you deeply, that sees you deeply, that understands you deeply, also reaffirming back to you these same things, because then it really helps your own body, your own nervous system to take on this new belief to this like next level. Yeah, so I would say kind of repatterning that has been really powerful.
Yeah, it's been really, really, really awesome to observe and be a part of. So that's really, really cool. I have two things I want to say. Number one, I'm curious because a lot of the questions that I usually get are like, okay, so it's like body-based business, like, and I have a background in somatic therapy, but it's coaching. So like, what, like, where is the body? Are we just like going to dance around all day? Do you touch me? People ask. What is that? And it's so unique for each person because every person is so unique. How would you describe the role of the body versus just our words when you and I are working together?
Oh, that's, yeah, a great question as well. So for me personally, my experience with that, and also just because it could be helpful information, like my background in Ayurveda, which is also very body-based, and I have also studied somatics, which is very body-based. So I had already kind of created a mind-body connection, because I think that's what like you speak to and what we're speaking to when we're talking about body-based business, because the body is your divine vessel of information. It has all the answers, and if we are only just using the conscious mind to make decisions, and we're not checking in like, oh, does my body feel tension? Like, oh, do I feel joy in my body? Oh gosh, that made me feel like a bit sick, what she said, or like when we can start to pick up that information of how our body is reacting to what people say, what people do, like how you respond, etc. Then you're building a business that is more aligned with your true essence, because your body, I want to say your body can't lie, it can lie because we can program it to behave in certain ways, but when we start to delayer the layers that are not true, so we can come back to more like subtleties within the body and sort of work with that system, then we are going to feel a lot more in alignment in what we're doing, what we're saying, what we're creating. So for me, spending the time to create that connection, like via meditation, via say movement in my own time, separate to say the space that we share like one-on-one, but just having my own practices around that, you know, will exponentially help anyone create a better mind-body connection to then have a better body connection within their business. And I think, Sheridan, you do that beautifully. You give people the tools to be able to help them drop into their bodies, to create that connection so that they're then able to get deeper information from their body within their business. I hope that came out correctly.
Yeah. And so the way that I kind of like, I think what I'm hearing and what I've experienced is that, yes, there'll be moments where we like do a body-based meditation and we get curious and we do like somatic dialoguing in our calls, but also you and I spend a lot of time kind of just being curious with what's happening inside of your body with the mindfulness that you bring to your work. And I want to say work and play, actually, really just like your work in your life. And so we take all of that and we bring that mindfulness, and sometimes, we'll probably do something that's like body-based. But also we do a lot of like getting curious about, oh yeah, I felt this way when I first received this message about a call. I wonder what that could be about. And you and I will get curious around that and find what's really going on inside of your body in a way that it's more difficult sometimes when you're in your own patterns.
Yeah, because you automatically just slip into that state of, that means that, and that's that. Whereas kind of getting curious and being like, oh, I had that sensation, and then bringing it to the space, we're then able to like unpick it and find the more truth within that situation, which can be really revealing.
Yes, it can be very revealing, kind of.
Very.
So I want to wrap up, and I want to just highlight back to you and give you a chance to speak on it if you want, which is, number one, we're going to be speaking about this mind-body connection and Geri's kind of experience with it inside of a podcast we're about to record that I will make sure is out when this is out. You guys will find it. It'll be on her eczema journey. I'll put it in the show notes. It's going to be really awesome. We're talking about her eczema and her dialoguing with the body. It's going to be amazing. Everybody listen to it. But I think what's really awesome to have seen in you is your transition from going from not super confident about your work and kind of like, where do I kind of fit in? And I say that with like a lot of love. I've been there, as I'm always there, you know, very often. We all have moments. And to actually being to be like, no, I'm going to own my expertise. I'm going to own that I work with practitioners, healers, coaches, people who are curious about spirituality, and actually just being like, I'm not really sure, to this is who I'm really good at working with. And then beginning to see that once you've now like rooted yourself into that, all of this, you know, you were just speaking about today how you're working with a new person, and it's this beautiful spacious agreement that you have, which is really lovely. And so seeing you lean into that and have the world respond has been really, really awesome, to finding your place and really owning it.
Yeah.
Does that feel true for you?
Yeah, more confidence in because I mean, there's always the message in marketing around find your niche, and I think that can be true for some people, it can not be true for some people, and for me, I felt like I didn't want to, but originally, and I think that came from a place of lack of confidence, because I felt like I couldn't work with the people that I wanted to because I wasn't advanced enough, let's say, and I think now I feel so much more grounded in what I'm doing, what I'm sharing with the world, the journey that I take people on, that I can kind of claim that space and be like, no, I do work with healers, practitioners, entrepreneurs, coaches, and that's who I'm here to work with, because I want to bring that level of depth that other people may not be ready for, because I think when you work in the space of healing or entrepreneurship or coaching, you're going to have a level of self-inquiry as a baseline. And so we want to take that baseline and up that baseline and get even deeper, because I'm all about working with the soul, and that's like a very deep level. I would say that's true.
Yeah. And I think that's so true. And I think it's one of the beautiful things, like as somebody who's also been in this self-discovery and somatic space for a really long time now, you get to this point where you really do need to work with people like you, so that you can have those very deep and like integral conversations, and you can understand nuance, and you can go into themes, and talk about fractals and the energy scale and all of these things, and how that works with the nervous system, and then how that works with Ayurveda. It's more advanced, and it's important as practitioners, I think, that we have somebody who we can work with that can challenge us to continue deepening and continue advancing, because sometimes it's not enough to work with somebody who maybe is just a little bit more newer to the space, or just kind of focuses more on like the more basic topics. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just that sometimes we get to a point where we really just need somebody to up level and hold us in a way that we're not holding ourselves. So that's amazing. I'm so excited for you. I will share all of your information below so that people can find your work and see it, and also go and explore how you can support them with Ayurveda and hypnosis and self-care and self-nourishment, all of the things. Let's go record your eczema story.
Yay. Excited.
Perfect.
A big and special thanks to Upturned for composing this magical piece of music, and to GS Studios for mixing it. To find Upturned's other tracks or ask for your own special custom piece of music, go say hello using their contact details in the show notes.